Deadlines. What would we do without deadlines? Some people say that without deadlines, nothing would happen. There's probably a big piece of truth in that. I'm Dennis from Groove Art. I make music while wandering the world. I'm currently in Havana, Cuba. It's a little bit on the chilly side, just warming up, so I'm still in my sweater. We'll talk about Havana in a little bit, but I wanted to talk about deadlines and the importance of deadlines and how they actually help us, mostly. I'm in a situation where, well, we're all in situations where we have to work to a deadline. Self-imposed deadlines are the hardest ones because they are the easiest ones to break and to move. My situation is that I'm on the road a lot, where I do a lot of my composing and my work, and I get the songs into demo form, but then I record them all back in Canada, in Vancouver, where my producer is, where my friends and my music environment is. So when I'm away, I need to have things ready to record. And the year is a constant cycle of getting things done in time to record. One example was last year in the springtime, I was busy composing and getting demos ready, and I got into Vancouver around June timeframe, but I wasn't ready to record, not everything. So I recorded what I could, and then I was off again and came back and just actually finished a bit of a marathon recording session and got 95% of what we're going to record done and out of the way. So I'm happy about that. But because of my travel schedule and moving around a lot, I have to get certain things done in a certain period of time. It's good and bad, but I just came off, as I say, probably about 10 days of elapsed time of recording, not every day, but almost every day. And that was a little stressful. It was, all the bottleneck was on me. So I actually had to record a lot of my parts. That included playing bass, guitar, and singing on one of the songs that I play all the instruments on. So I think I've talked about this before, that just because I wrote the pieces doesn't necessarily mean I know them well to play. And just got to make sure no one's fooling around with my bike over there. Nope. We're in Cuba, so I never know when people are going to be interested in swiping my stuff. I rode my bike here and I'm just off to the side recording. So I had to learn all my parts for about 6 different songs and a few different instruments. And there was a little bit of stress in that. Kind of felt a little bit like music school all over again, where you need to be able to perform and have pieces ready. So that's what I did over those 10 days, and kind of recording every other day with a couple of breaks in between. But that was definitely a deadline that had to be made, right? So I just kept on rolling. So that's what I did. Todo bien? I had to get all this stuff going and make it happen, because people are being paid. Time is ticking away. So it had to be done. Self-imposed deadlines, though, are really challenging, because if you're the only one that matters, which is in my case, I don't have a record company or anything like that behind me. So that means I can keep moving my deadlines to meet my needs. So that's always a bad thing. So I'm here to commit to releasing my album on March 15th. I still have a fair amount of work to do, but I thought I would publicly commit to getting my album out, my first album out on Spotify, on everything all uploaded and released on March 15th, 2026. You heard it here. Okay, so there's my self-imposed deadline. Let's see if indeed that I actually make my own deadline. I have no idea. Not everything is in control. So again, my situation is I am traveling and moving around a lot. So if I'm on a plane, I'm not hardcore enough to be composing on the plane. But if I'm moving around a lot and doing life administration type of things, I'm not obviously going to be composing and working on things. But I know that when I have hours in a day, that it's a priority to work on things. So as I say, right now I'm working on the tail end of getting the last 6 songs all recorded and ready to go. The next stage is horns. So I'm going to be recording horns on at least 2 songs in Brazil next week. So I'm under the gun because I have less than a week to create some horn parts. I'm not going to be creating the horn parts complete. I'm a beginner in that respect. So I'm going to be relying heavily on the musicians that I hire and my friend and teacher, Tobias. So I am going to put down some skeletal ideas so that we're not starting from complete scratch. Those ideas may get thrown out. They may get built upon. Who knows? But at least it's a starting point. But again, I'm going to be relying quite heavily on the expertise of the horn section: trumpet, saxophone, and trombone. So we're all set to record that next week. So that's happening, barring any natural disaster. But I am motivated by that particular deadline this week. It has to get done. So I'm working away. I've got about 3 more days before that 3 more days of available time before that session actually happens. So I still have a little bit of time. But I'm telling you, the pressure of having 3 good Brazilian musicians with their axes all ready to go, that's an intimidating thought for me. And I do not want to be in a situation where they walk into the room and say, okay, what do we do? Well, there is going to be some of that. So there will be pressure, but the less prepared I am, the worse the session's going to go. So I'm doing the best that I can right now to use my time to get some ideas down. So that's the deadline. That's the current deadline. And let's see if we make my March 15 release date. What has to happen now, those horns have to get recorded. And after that, it's going to be a little bit of synth parts, some ear candy pieces. They won't have anything to do with the structure of the song. The structure of the songs are all set and ready to go. But some little pieces of ear candy and a little effects and stuff like that, I'll have to add those in. So that's the next step. And after that, Jason will mix everything. And then it goes in for mastering. And then from there, we push up to Spotify and all the other platforms. So those are the deadlines I'm working with. Let me know what deadlines you're working on. I think the other thing too with deadlines is that they are obviously important and a challenge to meet, but depending on your situation, you don't want to kill yourself over them. Sometimes you do. In my case, I'm not willing to kill myself over these deadlines. When I was younger and I had other deadlines not related to music, I certainly would be pulling all-nighters and working long, long hours to make sure it gets done. I don't have that same level of urgency with these particular projects. These are all, getting my music out is a huge personal goal. So I will feel emotionally let down if I don't make my deadline. But I'm not going to, I need to fit my life in. So part of my life is seeing different parts of the world. You see me on the bike all the time. And in fact, if you'd like to see a little bike tour of Havana that I did, you can click up here and see that. But I need to fit my life in as well. That's important to me, to be working on other parts of life. Music is life, but you also need to stay healthy and happy and do all the other necessary things that are important for living a good life. There you go. There's my thoughts on deadlines. Love to know what you're working on and what deadlines you have to meet. So here we are in Havana, Cuba. I've been coming here for years. Since about 2014 was probably my first time here. And I've come here almost every year. There's obviously the COVID years that weren't possible. Having said that, I was actually here as COVID was breaking out. I was here in March of whatever that year was. That would be 2020, I think. I was here in March 2020, and I arrived here in Havana, in the Havana airport, 3 hours before the first official COVID arrived into the country. The first official known COVID arrived into the country from Italy, and they came through the airport 3 hours before me, and I came in 3 hours after them, and nobody knew anything about that, what was going on there. And so I was really worried that I had COVID, and I had all these sympathetic symptoms. All of a sudden my throat feels scratchy, and my nose is running, and I feel a little bit tired. All the symptoms that they were talking about at the time. So I didn't have COVID, but nobody knew. I didn't know if I was going to get, maybe I went through the same counter as the other folks did, and maybe I caught something there, and who knows? So that was a little bit scary. So I was here as the world was shutting down, and I was concerned. I didn't want to, people were getting stuck in countries, and I didn't want to get stuck here. I did make it out. I was supposed to go to Cancun, Mexico from here, but I had to go directly back to Vancouver. And did I have to quarantine? I don't remember. I don't know if they had figured all that out yet, but early days. So I've been coming here for a long time, minus the COVID years. And this is kind of my second trip back, I think, since COVID. And it's getting warm now. I gotta take this off. But it's a great place to visit. Definitely has its challenges, but that's also part of the beauty. So this is Havana, and specifically Old Havana. I'm on the Malecón right now, which is the seawall. And I usually bike on this path every day, at least when it's not raining, and enjoy the view. There's a lot less tourism here right now. Again, there's been challenges with gas shortages and blackouts. If you stay in Havana, I highly recommend that you stay in Old Havana. That's where the power is the most consistent. I just want to show you this view here. I just love this old, I don't know if I can get it here. So one of the things that's beautiful about this place is the old architecture. Obviously these old classic cars. So you're kind of going back in time, but I love looking down little streets like this. I wish I had my better camera here to show that, but if you are a photographer, as I am, you will have a heyday here. I just did a photo shoot yesterday with some ballet dancers who I've been working with over the years. Haven't seen them in a while, but I did a photo shoot. So there's beautiful scenery here. If you're a photographer, if you like street photography, it's probably the best street photography in the world, I would say. The pictures almost take themselves. So if photography is your thing, definitely worth a visit, almost under any circumstances. What's really special to me here is because people here, life is not necessarily easy for them. It's a struggle, and there's a sense of what's going to happen to us type of thing in the future. Sorry, there's a sense of uncertainty for the future for people living here. But what I find is with that uncertainty and with all the things they have to deal with, these people are fundamentally happy. I see smiles, I see laughs, I see music on the street, and that makes me really happy and hopeful for them as well. If you get a chance to come here, they would welcome you with open arms, and you'd enjoy their hospitality. If you'd like to, if you need a recommendation for a casa, check out the link up below. Sorry, check out the link up here. And I talked about a casa called Casa Obispo, which is where I usually stay.
Happy holiday.
But, hola, ¿todo bien?
¿Qué país?
Soy de Canada. Canada. Everyone wants to know where you're from. So everyone here is friendly and hospitable. And so if you come to visit, definitely stay in Old Havana. The reason why is because the power is a bit more consistent. And some things to do here. Classic car ride. You've seen a couple of them go by, but that's always a big tourist attraction. As I say, photography of any level is, I think, the number one thing for me. That's what I would do. That's what I do when I'm here, as often as I can. Videos, obviously. Drones are a big no-no. Don't even try to bring them here. You can get thrown in jail for that if you're found flying a drone here. And they will confiscate it from you at the airport if you have a drone. As you may know, I'm a big fan of drones, but I had to leave it at home because they scan your bag, and even if they see I think what they do is they're looking for the gyroscope motors. If they see that in your bag, they open up your bag. I know because they found my camera stabilizer, which I had a few years ago, and they thought it was a drone, but obviously it wasn't. But through the scanner, it looks like a drone because they can see the motors in there. So they're really, really sensitive to drones. So don't bother bringing them. They will confiscate it. You'll get it back on the way out, but they'll charge you a storage fee, and it's not necessarily free. I can't remember what it's happened to me before, not with drones, but with other devices, where they don't allow them in. So I've almost missed my plane because getting it back was also a process. It's not like they just hand it back to you. So a couple of red flags there to think about if you're going to be, if you're interested in doing drone photography. But photography, video, all that stuff, all wonderful things. Go see ballet. They have the Cuba National Ballet here, which the dancers that I was working with, they are part of that company. And the culture here is great. Stay in a casa particular, which is a word that means private house, where you can stay with a family, stay with a host family, and they'll look after you. That's the best way to really get to know and get into the culture here, because you'll be basically staying with a family, like at Casa Obispo. All right, so that's all we have to say about Havana for now. I'm Dennis from Groove Art. I make music while wandering the world. We'll see you in the next one, which will be Brazil. Brazil's coming up in next week. All right, take care everybody, talk soon.